8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes. Feeling still a little bit unwell, but we're getting there. So I might cough a lot through this, but I will do my best. We're just waiting for our guests to show up, and then we can finally start talking about what that horrible window was all about for 10 days, because nothing seemed to really happen, did it, for us? But there's a couple of moves happened. But let's get through the normal stuff. Evening, everyone. Welcome to NUFC Transfer Show Part 2. We'll try 2. Unfortunately, StreamYard did let us down, but there we go. Normal YouTube guidelines apply. Keep comments respectful and enjoy the show. Like, share, subscribe, help the channel grow. It's all free. Join from just 99p or donate using Super Chat. All profits are donated to charity. Les and Bars, Blades in the house as well. Good evening, all. Right, I'm going to do the usual stuff because I don't know what's going on, why no one's turned up yet. There we go. I know Superfan Dan is in Vegas, and I think he's just arrived. Roger, we'll just quickly do the usual stuff. Don't forget about our amazing sponsors, Diet Crow. 20% off using code BARS20. All their major merchandise is in the link below. Same for Jan's art. Absolute amazing stuff. Link in the description if you want to buy any of these amazing drawings. We've got the Geordieland Experience, a brand new company who are going to be doing experiences for people coming from abroad or from outside the Northeast to come and have tours. So consider them. And finally done it. Finally got it all fully announced. The Stanley Deaf Club 11v Through Black and White Eyes 11. Kieran's charity football game will be on Sunday, the 3rd of August. And I have Peter Beardsley playing for my team. I am buzzing my tits off. And thank you to Henderson's Taxis who are sponsoring the event, which means we were able to get free face painters for kids. So I paid for a face painter to come on the day to do some magic stuff with kids' faces and paint them in Sonics and stuff like that, whatever they can do. We've also got a soft play area, which will be free for all the kids to use as well, all used through the sponsorship money. And there's loads of donation buckets. There's raffles. I've got a raffle, which is going to start on Wednesday online. I've got great prizes for that. A Lewis Smiley shirt, a fully signed Newcastle squad shirt from last season. There's loads going on, so please come down to Newcastle Benfield Football Club. Thank you to them for allowing us to use their ground again and come and support the boys. Right, let's bring Dan in. How are we doing, Dan? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Baz?
I can, yes.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah. You can't hear me, though, can you?
Aye, son, can you hear me? Okay. All right.
I can hear you.
Baz, I'm so sorry you feel terrible, dude.
I'm still fighting it, mate. What is it now? It was 2 weeks on. It was 3 weeks on Thursday, and now on Sunday. So we're still trying to get it. I will not be wearing the number 8 shirt. I will not fight Peter Beardsley for it. Not a single chance in hell. He can wear whatever shirt he wants. He can wear a different colour. I don't care. He's on the pitch. That's all that matters.
That's so awesome.
It is, isn't it? Can't believe it's actually worked. That's
No
a
kidding.
nasty cough you've got, Baz. It is a nasty cough, unfortunately. That's all it is. It's a cough. Everything else has disappeared. So, yeah, we're waiting for Ian to turn up. I'm sure you won't be. He says he'll be 5-10 minutes. So
Yep.
We'll have a quick chat about your little trip, mate. You're in Vegas. Vegas, baby.
I'm in Vegas again. Monterey Bay played the Las Vegas Lights last night. at Cashman Field.
Win, lose?
No, loss.
Ah,
It was both 2-0 loss. Both goals came in the second half, right after we made triple substitution. It just, I think it just befuddled us. And when the first one went in, it was just the Las Vegas team just sacked their manager. So the assistant
manager
manager,
bounce.
the assistant manager is now the interim manager while they search for a new coach. And yeah, they got the new manager bounce. And I mean, this is a team that has lost 5 in a row, and we just gave them 3 points. So, and when I got off the plane yesterday, it was 108 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, Jesus.
And when the game kicked off last night, it was 97 degrees in the stadium. So I think it was just a miserable night all around. But the folks who came out were great. We had a group of about 30 people who traveled from the Monterey Peninsula out here to visit. Some drove, some flew. But yeah, all in all, just a good away day for us. Just a bad result at the office. That's just the way it goes. The way the ball bounces, the way the cookie crumbles. Whatever cliche you want to throw at it, it happened last night. So
we'll come to that later, Choppy, because that is very interesting stuff that's developed, if it's true. First of all, let's talk about Tino Livramento, because he shone for the under-21s. He's a target from Man City. Now, I had a chat with Martin, the Man City fan, as we all know, and he gave me a nice little bit of information as well, which we'll discuss after we've talked about Tino. And he said, look, you've got PSR problems, which we sort of do and we sort of don't. We don't have PSR problems where we have to sell.
right.
PSR problems, if we want to break away from PSR, we need to sell a decent player at some point. All our fans are always complaining about PSR, but then when someone comes in for one of our players, it's like, we'll never sell him. We can't do that. We can't do this. So we're always going to be stuck in this middle ground with PSR. And it's how are we going to break free of it? Now, he said to me, as far as I'm aware, it's stupid money they've been offering. And he said to me, if Man City offered you 80 million for Tino, would you sell him? That was the question I got asked. And I said, that would be the most expensive right back in history. It would be hard to say no, because 80 million would set us free of PSR. That would give us, this amortization thing, the way it works, would probably give us freedom of about 200 million. Now, that is huge. So I'll ask you the question. I said, yes, I probably would, because 80 million is a lot of money, and you can probably buy a really good right back for 40 million. Would you do it?
If I had a gun to my head, yes. But, I don't feel we're in that. I don't feel we're in that position. And it just, for me, it just goes to show how well our scouting network did in that buy. I mean, there were so many people who were concerned about his fitness, his knee and everything. And he's now gone on to prove he can play at right back. He can play left back. He can play wing back. He can, he can play anywhere. He's been called up for the England full team in the past. He's an England regular for the under-21s. If Man City offered us 80 million, I think we'd be hard pressed not to take it. But I'm hoping it doesn't come that far.
I mean, I do. I'm the same. So the most expensive right back in history was Morocco, right back 26, Morocco, Spain, Paris Saint-Germain he played for. It doesn't say his name for some reason, but it was 80 million euros. Apparently, for the most expensive right back. Hakimi. I mean, I can hear you.
Are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me? I think it's your Wi-Fi, mate. I can hear you. Nope, we've lost them. You're all right, Ian. I think we've lost Dan. It's a good timing.
Good evening, mate. Sorry for the delay, mate. I've just been rushed off.
It's all right. It's
No,
okay.
you're great, Ian. I
Oh,
was
yeah,
just
we
responding
can
to
hear you now.
Baz's question about Tino Livramento. If
Baz, you sound rough.
I am rough, mate. I am.
Say again?
I'm rough in my cough, but
Yeah.
I'm actually fine in general, if that makes sense.
Good. Dan, how are you doing?
I'm good, Ian. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic, mate. Absolutely brilliant.
As we were saying in our WhatsApp chat, Ian and I are kind of celebrating an anniversary of sorts. The first time I ever was on a podcast with Ian was in a hotel room in Vegas. So here I am. two years later, I think. 2 years later, yeah. So
I love it.
yeah.
Brilliant.
So the question from Martin, you know Martin very well. He's obviously very interested in Tino Livramento, Man City are. He said to me, would you sell him for 80 million if it was stupid money? And I said yes, because that would make him the most expensive right back in history. And I was just saying, Hakimi for Paris Saint-Germain is currently the most expensive right back at 60 million euros. So that's about 53 million.
Yeah.
So, you know, it would be impossible for us to turn down an 80 million bid if that came in.
Yeah, well, Martin, when the original when the original rumor came about Man City being linked with Tino, this was probably about 6 weeks ago. Martin messaged me and says we're going in for Tino, and I went, yeah, why? Yeah, no problem. Didn't think nothing of it, and then obviously about 2 weeks ago, there was interest, obviously, about Man City coming in for Tino. I spoke to Martin, and Martin said they've stepped away from the deal at this present time because of the asking price. And the asking price, what Man City will come in with is £80 million. And they've stepped away from it, and they will come back in August. What I said back to Martin was, of course, we're a different Newcastle United now, is because we are in a position where we do not need to sell our players. So as much as you want to come in, because Martin, over the past transfer windows is, when he turned around and said about Bruno and everything, the big boys are coming. That was always what he said to us was, it's different now. Why would we strengthen rivals?
Right.
We are in a position now where we are a club that are now competing in the right end of the Premier League. So why would we want to sell one of our best assets? And the reason why it's the best asset is because he can play on both flanks.
Yes.
And there's not many players. I mean, I watched Tino the other night for the under-21s at left back, and he was absolutely outstanding. Yep. He was too good for the under-21 level. So, yes, there's interest, of course. Do you know, it's brilliant that big clubs are coming in for showing interest in our players. I get that, because why wouldn't they want our best players? It's what as a club, what we do going forward. I think the Isak deal for me is so important. The Isak deal needs to be done quick. He needs to be our top earner, because Bruno's our top earner at the best. I think he's on 160 at this present time. I think Bruno's on that. We need to push Isak up to that 200 grand a week mark, so we can attract players that we can go in for any player we want. What we're saying is we can go in for. There was a great one where we were in for Kingsley Coman at Bayern Munich, which is so unrealistic because he's on £275,000 a week.
Yeah, we ain't paying that.
At this present time, but the Isak deal is so important, because if we now put Isak top earner on 200 grand plus, we can then start attracting players on the 200 grand plus mark wages a week. Until that happens, we are stuck on a wage structure that we can't do. But going back to Tino Livramento,
would you sell him for 80 million though? That's the big question, because 80 million is a lot of money. Me personally, to have a player that can play both flanks at a level
that he can do it. I can't see another player in the world at this present time can do it. So no, I think he's pivotal to this football club.
Fair play.
So who? I ask yourself this question: if we sell him for 80 million,
mm-hmm.
do you go out and buy a right back for 80 million?
No, because we're talking huge amounts of money. I would go out and buy a right back for 30, 40 million again.
Right. So if you're going to go out and buy a right back for 30, 40 million,
yeah,
you're weakening what we've left go for 80 million because we haven't got that cover on the left side. So you need to go out and buy. There's not many Kieran Trippiers about.
No, I get that.
He can play both sides. Tino Livramento can play both sides equally as good. I don't know another fullback in the world at this present time that ticks my box straight away and go, he can play both sides. You've got Hakimi at PSG, right? Unbelievable.
Oh, I say he's the most expensive right back ever.
He's
a forward. He's an attacking midfielder at times, isn't he? He's crazy.
Right, so Trent has now went from Liverpool to Real Madrid. Mm-hmm. Massive figures, right? Could Trent play left back?
Well, no, he can't even play right back.
But there you go. So this is what I'm trying to say. So losing, you would say you would sell Tino Livramento.
But I would sell because of the
that
price,
kind of money.
We're talking world record fee, aren't we? That's the thing.
I don't care if it's a world record fee or a world fee that you've never seen again in your life. You can't let this man go because he's so versatile.
That's a fair point. I mean, Stephen's got a good point as well. Gordon over Livramento for me. I wouldn't sell Tino, but Gordon for 100 million, I would. So again, we've thrived for years to have players of this ability. We are not a selling club anymore. We're not, but we're still in that middle ground with PSR where it's going to be a problem if we go out and try and buy big, because then we'll need to sell next summer.
Yeah.
If we sell someone at the likes of 80 to 100 million, that PSR boundary is much bigger. And then we can sort of have free rein this summer and possibly next summer as well.
I get that, Baz, totally. But I think the department where you need to look at and doing that is not in our defence. Especially Tino Livramento.
Yeah.
What was it, 32.5, 33 million we paid for him?
Yeah, I think so.
Mate, no money in the world can replace. You've got to remember, he can play two positions equally as good.
I get that. I do get it.
At a level, mate, for me, you can sell Gordon, you can sell Murphy, you can sell other players around that football club.
Not for that kind of money, though. We're talking about 80 million.
I don't care if it was 150 million. This man needs to stay at this football club.
It's a fair shout. Gvardiol is the highest ever sale of a defender at 90 million euros. That's probably right, but he was actually a centre back.
But
about right backs.
Gvardiol, right, can only play left side of centre half or left full back.
Right.
This man can look what he offers going forward, both flanks. Right? No wonder Man
both.
Wants
I get it.
Not only fullback, but wing back as well.
He's incredible.
Yep.
Me personally, he is one of the. He's got to be one of the main players that stays at our football club. Along with,
fair enough.
He's up there with the best. He's up there with the best at what we have.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather sell Barnes than Gordon, to be honest with you, but that's me. Right, that's enough about Tino. The other bit that frightens me with the Tino deal, though, is apparently we are definitely after James McAtee. So Man City might be like, well, we're not going to sell you him because we want Tino and you're not selling Tino to us. But Martin did say that McAtee is actually very interested in going to Germany rather than staying in the Premier League, which a lot of young players are doing that now, aren't they?
He did say he wanted to go to Germany as well.
Yeah, that's what I just said, yeah. Germany.
Yep. Sorry.
There's a lot of young players. Oh, did I? Sorry, yeah.
Sorry.
So he said that he doesn't want to stay in the Premier League. He'd rather go to Germany, which, you've got Bellingham doing that. You've had other young players doing it, going to Germany, getting the experience, because they do play good football in Germany, don't they?
Yeah. McAtee, for me, I've seen enough of him.
I haven't either.
So, like I said to Martin, is he another Alfie Harrison? I don't know.
He's apparently doing really well in the under 21s, and he's been called up to the main squad. Recently got his performances, so he's one to keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. Why does anyone want to go to Germany other than for Oktoberfest? That's a fair shout. That is a fair shout. Right. What's the missing piece of our puzzle? Now, for me, and I'm sure you'll both agree straight away, when we played against Everton in Brighton at home, when teams played a low block, we found it very difficult to break them down. The one thing I feel we're missing from our team is someone who can get into pockets in that 10 role. And we don't really have that. Now, Bruno is meant to be that further forward player to do that. Now, he does sometimes, but I don't think he does it well enough. Now, this is why I said Joe Pedro, when they first broke this information on Sky or wherever it was, I said he would be perfect for us. Pedro is someone who can play on the right, he can play on the left, he plays a 10, he can play as a striker as well. I spoke to our Brighton friend, and he said straight away he would be an amazing signing for you, because him linking up with Isak would be phenomenal, because he can get into those pockets and he can play those passes around the defence. He's brave enough to do it. The fee is the problem, Dan. Now, I don't know what they're asking for, but he has said he wants to leave Brighton, but we're talking 50, 60 million. Now, I think he's worth it. We wanted to buy him when he was at Watford for like 19 million, and he went to Brighton instead, which has obviously proven to be very good for Brighton. But would you pay 50, 60 million for Pedro, or would you look somewhere else?
No, I would pay 50, 60 million, because he's a similar type player. Now, and when we start talking about stats, if we start talking about numbers, we obviously know who the better player is, but he can play anywhere in the front three, just like Gordon, just like Mbeumo. If with Mbeumo, you were getting a backup striker and a right winger at the same time. Pedro could do that too. If we were willing to pay 50, 60 million for Mbeumo, why wouldn't we pay for Pedro? And Pedro can play in that 10. He's not going to be he's the link-up player. He's not a target man. He's going to link up well with Isak and make things happen for Isak. He's another arrow in the quiver for me. I would not be against spending 50 million on João Pedro.
Like it. Ian, for me, it's not just about him playing in a 10. It's what Isak can do as well as what Pedro can do, because they can switch around whenever they want in the game, because Isak is very comfortable going out on the right. He's very comfortable going out on the left, and he's very comfortable coming deep. Now, if you put them both in the same team, that is seriously strong talent, especially at home when we're playing against a low block. This is the issue that we've had all season, and we need to eradicate for next season.
Yeah. I won't give too much on Pedro because I've never seen him much.
Oh, I've seen him a lot, trust me.
Right, I haven't. So I'm not going to sit here and say that for us or do this for us, because I haven't seen him, so I'll be sat here being a liar. What I will say is, what I've noticed with Isak is it depends on a lot of what we miss out on. He makes that run in between the two centre-halves where he'll look for the ball in between, and we ignore that. So I totally agree with you, Baz, where the 10 rule is absolutely important, the new direction where we must go in. Will Pedro fit that role? I don't know. But I think it's imperative that we have that mindset of player to be able to find the balls in between. I mean, Bruno does when he comes up, and he does find them, but it's more out, like, if you notice where he finds it, he'll look to play the one down the side where we'll get the ball in the box again.
Yeah, definitely.
So from a deeper role, where Isak will pull in between the two centre-halves to look to be running in on goal, which he loves to thrive on. I mean, him and Gogoretz absolutely thrive. And I mean, I've seen snippets, because of, obviously, Gogoretz has been linked with Manchester United and stuff like that. And certain Newcastle United fans have seen why can't we link them two together. So there's been a lot of videos being put about of what they do. And in international level, they kind of grow together, and he plays in that 10 role. They bounce off each other, and again, in between that centre half line, where if you can open up through the middle, it's so great to do that. And what my ears pricked, and I don't think many Newcastle United fans would probably like this, was when Jack Grealish was linked with us, right? And Martin said this, he goes, "You're interested in Jack?" And Manchester City were willing to pay 60% of his wages, which would leave him on £120,000 a week with us. I think he's brilliant in a role where he could affect and bring Isak into that game, doing that on a season-long loan, like a Rashford doing with Aston Villa. I really think that maybe could work, simply because we haven't got that player where. Don't get me wrong, mate. I think Jack Grealish on his day is absolutely fantastic. It's the other side what I'm a bit weary of. His party side, and that side of it. Worried just a little bit.
Well, something's got a bit funny here. 2 seconds. Is that better? There we go.
Is that better?
Yeah, Dan's jumped in with another one and everything started echoing.
Yeah. So if you get what I mean, I was just thinking a player with a technical ability to bring Isak in that, but I totally get it, mate. I totally get it.
Yeah, it's not Ian who's got the echo. It's Dan. He's doing something. I think he's. Let's remove that one and bring him back in on this one. We should be okay now. For me, Grealish, too old, too expensive, and his party inside of things. And when I spoke to Martin, he said Grealish has completely fallen out with Pep. It's literally, he's gone. Yes, he's 29, and for me, doesn't fit the mold of what an Eddie Howe would want. Unless Eddie Howe can completely turn his life around.
I totally get that. But there's a player there. And
yeah, I agree.
There is a player there, by the way, and he's a fantastic player. And don't ever forget that. I think he's been caught up in the hype of being at the best club in the world, because don't get me wrong, they had dominated everything. But if you remember what he did at Aston Villa, he was outstanding.
Oh, he was.
That's the reason why he attracted Pep's attention to get there. And what I'm saying is, sometimes you need something like that, and if you're going to get him on loan, it's for free. I just think sometimes where you can bring him in and do something with him, and I think Eddie could work with him. I really do, and I think away from the big picture, away from the big spotlight, away from Manchester City, I think he'd be brilliant. I really do.
Yeah, it goes back again. Dan's having some problems in his Vegas hotel. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. The thing is with the approach for him as well was apparently we wanted Man City to pay too much of his wages and City weren't happy with it. So that was basically a no-go, basically. So I don't... Maguire do a report 2 days ago saying if we bought Elanga and Pedro for 60 million, each should give them 120k wages, which is 18 million a year for 5 years. That's under the Champions League money we receive. I have no idea, to be honest with you. I've not read that. Aston Villa was a relegation team when when he came back in the Premier League, though. He was excellent, wasn't he? I don't think Bruce parties. He celebrated during treble season and donated money behind the bar at Workman Club, 500 quid, but I wouldn't have him as age profile, maybe 2 seasons maximum. He's in bloody Ibiza now, I'm sure he is. Trust me, Grealish has got a problem when it comes to drink, and apparently his head's all over the place. So Dan's going to try his phone again because the internet is crap on the in the Vegas hotel.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I think he could be a good fit.
No, he could be, I get the dynamic of it. I just think he's too much of a risk, and we can't afford a risk, can we? That's what worries me a little bit. Right, before we carry on talking, don't forget we've got this amazing charity match on the 3rd of August. Ian's involved, I'm involved, everyone's involved. Peter Beardsley's playing. It's at Newcastle Benfield Football Club, and thank you to them again for allowing us to use their pitch. We're raising money for Stanley Deaf Club and also for Lily Foundation, which is for rare diseases. They need all the support they can get. So please come down on the day. It's free entry. There's loads going on. There's raffles. I'm starting a raffle on Sunday with loads of great. Sorry, on Wednesday with loads of great prizes. A Newcastle fully signed shirt from last season, a Miley shirt. There'll be other things thrown in there. So please keep an eye out for that. We've got free face painter. We've got free bouncy castles and all that sort of soft play area for the kids. There's drink. There's food. There's a kids game, so if you're interested in getting your kid involved, we're trying to get 3 games going at the same time, 3 different little pitches going on. We've got proper referees and linesmen, a full lot, so just get yourself down. But please, if you want your kid to play, let me know, because we've got to have the names and numbers ready for when it all starts. So I can't wait for that, so please keep an eye out for it. Right. Ah, man. Other crappy rumours. So Gordon to Liverpool. Now, we were told last summer was it December or January we did the show with Luke?
December.
We were told Gordon's head was actually turned, and it was turned by his agent, because his agent promised him he'd get his move to Liverpool if he wanted it. So his agent kind of talked up the move, and Liverpool weren't really interested in buying him in the summer. So that all fell apart. Gordon didn't have a great start to the season. We believe that was the reason why. Is this now just his agent being a pain in the backside again?
Probably.
I mean, 100 million is a lot of money. I mean, it'd be hard to turn it down. But
you know, I've never heard nothing about Gordon to Liverpool.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Nothing. Fair. Not a thing, apart from like. The only things that I've heard is Elanga.
Yeah, he was the next one we're going to talk about.
Yeah, the only but Gordon, not a thing I've heard. Not a whisper about him.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. See, I don't think we're going to get Morgan, Roger. I don't think. No way Villa are selling him. Not a chance.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, no bother.
2 seconds, Paul.
And Dan's back. Semenyo is Gordon's replacement. So the rumor is, Dan, that Liverpool are interested in Gordon again, but I've not heard anything about it. His head was turned. We got told last summer. I can't see it happening.
I think the drop off in his form that we saw the last few months of the season, I think, was down to the injury that he sustained with England.
Yes, that was.
I think his confidence got knocked. I think watching Barnes come in for him while he was injured and start performing like the Barnes we expected when we purchased him, I think threw him off. I just, there's so many things that didn't go right for the lad at the at the tail end of the season. And he's a Liverpool fan. He's a boyhood Liverpool fan. I hope we get back the Gordon of 2024, yes. Late 2024, or the Gordon that played Arsenal in 2 Carabao Cup semifinals. That's the Gordon we need. Me personally, I don't want to see him go. So.
Yeah, we're not getting Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It's not happening.
No, not even.
It's not an option. It's just, that's paper talk again.
Talk.
Villa will sell Ramsey before they'll sell Morgan Rogers. And we're also interested in Ramsey, aren't we?
Well, there's a lad I know who's an Aston Villa fan, and he says Ramsey's dreadful, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, he's dreadful. And when I spoke to him about it, he goes, I says, is this right that there's a gentleman's agreement in between ourselves and yourselves with Harvey Barnes going in one direction and we're getting Ramsey? And he went, thank God we're getting Harvey Barnes because Ramsey's dreadful. But we were linked with Ramsey in January, but he had a hamstring injury, I believe. But again, that was journalists pushing that. And maybe the agent talking. There was nothing nothing solid about that. So, I don't think the Ramsey one's legit at all.
Yeah, I hope not. But one that is Elanga. Now, I would love Elanga and Pedro, not just one of them. Now, Elanga ticks a lot of boxes for me because, again, he's young. Didn't he have something like 17 goals and assists last season? I think it was. If I'm
all together.
Right. Yeah, all together, yeah. And he's Swedish. He knows Isak. He's in the Sweden squad with him. He knows how he plays. I would love Mbeumo more, but I know that's not going to happen because it sounds like he's going to follow Thomas Frank to Tottenham. I'm so glad he's not going to Man United because that is fucking hilarious. Pardon the language. But Elanga makes a lot of sense for me if we can get him at the right price again. And Asula apparently has just scored again for the under-21s, which is fantastic. But Elanga for me would be a perfect fit. Ian, what's your thoughts on Elanga?
There was a Swedish journalist put something out early on this morning that it was rejected for the
£40 million.
That's a lie.
Rejected. Oh, interesting.
Because we haven't even bid yet.
I love it.
Talks are on, but we haven't even bid a figure yet. So, what I got told today, the Pedro interest is absolutely solid, 1,000,000%. The Elanga deal is solid. Our goalkeeper is definitely James Trafford that we're pushing to get through over the line.
So fee on that as well, isn't it? Well, we'll come to that after Elanga. So
yeah, it's Manchester City. No, we will not do a deal until after the 30th of June.
Yeah, because
of the PSR cut-off deal. We're trying to get.
No, you see, I heard it's like right. So this needs to be clarified, but I am 100% positive that because of this 10-day window thing they opened, right? They were told if you sign or sell anyone in that 10-day window, it goes on to next year's figures.
Right. What I got told was, forget the window, forget this new one.
Right.
It's a smoke screen. That's what I got told today.
No, but what I mean is that if they're allowing you to put it onto next year's figures in that 10-day window, they've got to allow it in this full window when it opens.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you sign them before the 30th or after the 30th, it's still the same. It'll be on next year's figures.
What I got told today was forget what's going on in between. Newcastle United will still only do something after this one shut and reopened.
Yeah, it just seems silly because it wouldn't have made any difference on the figures.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah, because that was released by Stefan, I think it was.
We can still talk to anybody. We can still talk and put deals in place, but for our books, this is what's going to happen. So people want signings every single day of the week.
Yeah, I know.
We just want to do things right.
Yeah,
but if other
sorry, 2 seconds, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nothing to do with taxes. It's to do with the PSR rules and about how the works on the books and stuff like that. So the Premier League can overside that if they want to, but obviously the taxes and all that will still go to the government at the right time. All that sort of stuff. Stefan is definitely not clueless. Welcome back, Nick.
I don't understand, right? Well, I've seen Stefan get a lot by the way, right? Yeah. And when he's trying to, I would say, what's the right word? Educate.
Yeah.
And if you don't, all you have to do is go back on his YouTube shows and watch what he does on TalkSport and when he goes right the way through for financial and dig deep into PSR. Our fan base is they ignore him, which is it's embarrassing actually because he's trying to help us realise what we can and can't do.
Good question. Yeah, I agree.
But he's getting so much shit over it.
Oh, I know, because like people have come out and said we don't have PSR problems. Eddie Howe's come out and said we don't have PSR problems. And obviously he just looks at the figures. He looks at what's in companies' houses, what's being released, and then he puts it all together and works it out. Yeah. So there we go. We need to get past the FFP before we can sign anyone. We don't. We've got plenty. Dan, sorry, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say I'm confused by this window that got opened and then shut because of the Club World Championship. If
Do you not think it was
if
so for a
selling, yes, absolutely. But if a selling club is in PSR trouble
Mhm.
and they have to sell before the 30th, why are we waiting until after?
Yeah.
That's the thing that confuses me.
We as a club, we are not in a position to sell now.
Yes, it is.
But we're not selling. We're trying to buy.
Yeah, why aren't we taking advantage of the teams who've got PSR problems? I think is what we're.
But because why? If you look at it, if you look in, why would you? So, if you want to be better, how many clubs would you target that's in PS problems? So we know Aston Villa is. Who's the others? You can clearly see a Bournemouth is because they've sold massive players, and they've gone.
Well, they probably don't have any problems now because they sold Houston to Real Madrid.
Yeah. Who's the others that sold in the Premier League?
Forest are the other team that are struggling. So Elanga.
So we're going for Elanga. So we're going in for Elanga. So out of the whole of the Premier League, which other players would you want to come to Newcastle United? So as much as you're saying we should pounce on them, who stands out that you should pounce on to make us better?
I mean, if Bournemouth are still in trouble, it's a big if, isn't it? Because we don't really know.
By the way, Curtis is going to Liverpool as well.
Yeah, there's another. See, Clivert would be a player I'd be very interested in.
Maybe. But the rest of them, so you're going, yes, they're in financial trouble. They're in financial trouble for a reason. We're going in for Elanga. Brentford are in financial trouble. That's why the manager's gone. Because he openly said, we will sell Wissa and we will sell Mbeumo.
And he wants both of them at Spurs.
The two biggest assets. So other clubs in financial difficulty, one was obviously Leicester that got relegated. You're not going to pick from nobody else.
No.
So you are now going to go, I'm not interested in them, so why should we we bounce? Me personally, I would go to Juventus and get Douglas Luiz. Because they're in financial trouble.
Oh, yeah, damn God, he's another good player, but they won't sell him.
I would go straight in for Douglas Luiz because we need another world-class midfielder now. I've said it for months now.
What was that Leicester player called? The number 10? The young lad. Oh, it begins with a K. Can't remember his name. He looked good when he started playing near the end of the season. He would be someone I would take a risk on at a low price to get Eddie Howe to improve him.
Because what I've said from day one, Baz, is it's all right having Tonali and Bruno, that's brilliant ball players. Then Joe Linton comes there, but you can't fight everybody every single week and go into a rugby match because it doesn't work. When you go up against the big boys, you need 3 brilliant ball players in there. We haven't got that.
Horses for courses and all that sort.
We haven't got that. So go and get Juventus. Go and get Douglas Luiz, or go and get another brilliant ball playing midfielder from around the world. We need that. We need that person. 1,000,000%. We're going into the best competition in the world again. We cannot go into this Champions League the way we did the last time and just enjoy the ride and let our league position suffer.
No, I get that.
We need to be more adequate in what we do, and we need world-class players. So I think we're going to be, as much as everybody wants to be, yes, we need this and yes, we need that, we've got to be so selective of what we do.
Absolutely.
And that's why Tino needs to stay, by the way.
Yeah,
no matter what the cost is, forget the British world record or whatever. This player is more important than Bruno Tonali at this football club because he can play both sides at world-class level. And you can't. It's like losing Isak and me for Tino Livramento.
That's interesting. Oh man, right. Joe Willock could be a man on the move. Now I've defended him. You know how much I like Joe Willock. How many times I've defended him on these shows. Always wanted the Joe Willock back from 2 years ago with that pass stick in the Spurs game and all that sort of stuff because he sees things that other attacking midfielders we didn't have. He was comfortable running with the ball. I mean, that season was fantastic, but he's been plagued with injuries. Apparently, Palace are very interested in him. Fulham are interested in him. We're talking about 25 million. I am now at the point I would sell Willock. Dan, would you sell him?
If he's going for 25 million, we get back what we spent on him.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think we'll get any more because of his injury record at the moment.
I would sell him if someone came in for him. I would sell him because we know what they're going to get.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 25 million would be quite a bit of money.
It's not helping us. So
It's another one as well, Sean Longstaff. But Willock, Ian, would you move on now? I know you're a fan of him as well.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of Joe Willock. For me, if the offers were on the table for Longstaff or Willock, I'll be shifting Longstaff rather than Willock.
I agree with that.
But if no offers were on the table for Longstaff and only for Willock, I can see where you can generate money for, because probably the highest value because of his ability in our midfield at this present time will be probably value for performances will be Joe Willock. It's a shame. I think he's a great player. Unfortunately, I think the back end of last season where I thought he was absolutely flying until he got that horrible hamstring injury. And I think it's knocked him back a little bit. I think he's low in confidence. I don't think he trusts himself anymore. I think he knows as well that the players around him are at a higher caliber, where he might think, I'm not going to get in here because he's got Tonali, Bruno, Joe Linton. So it's one of them where you think, can I go out and play every weekend, week out? So to get value for money, I don't want to see him leave because I think he's a good player. But for the football club, I think he might have to go out. In 25 million, I think it's a great price.
I do. I really do. There's another name popped in there which we're going to talk about. We'll talk about it now. Harvey Elliott, obviously
from Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean Harvey Elliott was, when Klopp was there, he relied on him quite a lot from the bench.
Where has this came from?
It's just been in the media.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it personally myself, but
yeah,
it's obviously been mentioned in there.
Yeah.
Would you consider him?
Me personally, I would rather spend another 20 million and bring Curtis Jones in.
Curtis Jones won't leave Liverpool though, will he?
But if you're going to go down the Liverpool route where Curtis Jones will be, all he is he flits in and out the team like a Joe Willock role. I think Curtis Jones is absolutely magic, mate. I think he's brilliant. And if you're going to buy someone with a statement and take away from somebody like Liverpool, Curtis Jones will be my number one target in that midfield. I think he's fantastic. I think he's a great player.
Interesting. But would you take Harvey Elliott?
No.
That is the question.
no, sorry. That's why I went away from him, and I thought if there was something there, mate, honestly, I think Curtis Jones is going forward in years to come. Believe me, I think he's going to be one of the best midfielders in the league. I think he's fantastic.
Interesting.
I think he's outstanding.
Very interesting. I'm just thinking if obviously Gordon goes to Liverpool, is there a swap deal potentially? Kenny Wharton retired many years ago. Yes, he did. But Wharton, as in the one at Palace, he is someone I would be very, very interested in. But again, talking too much money, aren't we? Yeah. Right, keepers. How long has this Greek guy got left on his contract, do we know?
Well, the Greek was never, in his contract was never
going to play
first division, a Premier League game for Newcastle United, and it showed that. I haven't got a clue what is in his contract, by the way, because nobody said anything apart from he was never to play a first team game for Newcastle.
Yeah, shocking, isn't it? But it was a PSR thing, wasn't it? That was the thing. It was to help Forest out.
I just don't get it at all.
I do. It was helping Forest out. Then they helped us out.
But we lost out. Massively.
I know we have.
True.
Well, yeah.
100%.
Because we got a goalkeeper that cost a fortune, and we lost one of the homegrown prospects that's got a massive future at our football club. Not only for our football club, for England as well.
No, I agree with that. And that's something, Denny, I've spoke about quite a lot. If we're going for Trafford and we don't need Nick Pope and we keep Dubravka, there could be a make way to Pope going back to Burnley. But I think Eddie Howe's in the way of thinking that you'd rather get rid of Dubravka and the others and keep Pope and having Trafford challenging him for the number 1 spot.
Well, I got told 2-3 days ago that Burnley's shifting the goalposts again, and it's going down. It's going down exactly the same route as the Gay deal, where they want this deal has been put in place now for 2 windows. That way, you want Trafford.
Yeah, well, I mean, Trafford's come out and said himself with the interest was there and he wanted to go.
And the what's boiling my piss is we should have pounced when he had the relegation clause, because the sell-on fee back to Man City would have been a lot less. Yeah. But now Burnley, because they've been promoted, they're asking for a little bit more, which gives more to Man City. That's the negotiating side at this present time.
You can't blame Burnley. I mean, he's now a Premier League player, isn't he?
Burnley,
rather than a Championship player. So
still wants to come to Newcastle United.
Yeah. Gosh, yes, Newcastle didn't.
And that's the stumbling block. And I got told today as well. It was tea time today that you're interested in Gittins from Borussia Dortmund.
All right, tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, we've showed interest in Gittins. He told me 3 months ago.
Right.
And we have showed interest again. We've inquired about Gittins from Dortmund, which is obviously the winger.
What's he like? I don't know enough about him. Did he play in the Champions League against us?
No.
2 years ago.
Well, and Dortmund's in a mood to sell because they just got Joe Bellied.
Gittins is an absolute brilliant player, and I mean brilliant.
Right, I don't know him. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, brilliant player. He's a real good talent where a lot of our Premier League clubs have been looking at him.
All right. What about Jordan Sancho?
Forget that, mate. Wages
will be the problem. Would you not take a wage cut to get back into a decent side?
Would you take a 60% wage cut to come down to us? Definitely not.
I personally would, but he probably wouldn't.
Definitely.
I don't know about his release clause, but there's another fantastic centre back if we don't get Gear. He is a player that we talked about 2 years ago when we first got into the Champions League. We were like, got to go and get this lad. But obviously, I don't know what the situation is with him. The other one is Kim. And now he's fallen out in Germany, hasn't he? Centre back.
It's Bayern Munich.
Yeah, and he's not had a great 2 years in Germany. I know he's 29, but if you want someone who can have experience of Champions League football and still be at a higher level of what we've got, probably not, he's obviously not higher than Botman maybe, but he's definitely better than Shaw, he's definitely better than Byrne, he's definitely better than Kraft. I think Kim, I think it's like 20, 30 million he's now set at. I think that would be a cracking signing.
And didn't Bayern Munich just get Tah from Leverkusen on a free?
Yeah. So he's down the pecking order even further. So that it's a risk, but that's a high-level player who's having a bit of a bad time. I think Eddie Howe could work magic with him, and him alongside Botman would be a fantastic pairing next season. And obviously Shaw coming in and out as well.
Okay, but it's again, going back to is 29.
Not for a defender. I've always said this, and I think Ian agreed with me at the time. When you're buying centre-backs, you want experience.
Yeah.
And I know Botman was obviously outside of that because he was 22 when we bought him. But look at what Dan Burn did. Look how old he is now. Look at Shaw. Look at his age and experience. Kraft and his experience. I think you need that in your centre-back team. And he's also got pace as well, considering.
Well, and when you've got the likes of Livramento and Hall on the flanks,
exactly.
You've got the speed and the youth there. So yeah, there's something to say for experience and tactical nous.
Yes, personally.
Why do you think? This is going back to your question about experience, right? Why do you think what do you call he went from Leicester back to Man United? Centre half.
Maguire.
No.
Oh, Evans.
Johnny Evans.
Yeah.
For that reason only, by the way. Right? True professional, great player, by the way. Right? No, don't shake your head, Baz, because...
No, I'm sorry, we had at the comment.
Oh, sorry. He's been an old god class centre-half, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And that's the reason why sometimes you just need... That's why Fab Shaw's there. And that's why Dan Burn can be that. I mean, Dan Burn this season, God almighty, he's blew my mind away how good this man has been. And we're pulled into pieces of what you've done at left back because he was left absolutely wide open to be raped.
Yeah.
And I hate saying that word, right? I hate saying that word. But when he's went back to his left side centre half this season, my God.
He's been a revelation.
He's been absolutely outstanding. And if you watch the players saying who the player of the season was, you look at who the players picked him, who were the top players at our football club, because they realise how important that man's going to be, that man's been. And if you look at his age, his ability's not the best, right? But when he plays for England, he looks like he's played there all his life.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, he's a leader.
Yep.
No.
He's brilliant. And you know, and we're paid what, 10 million?
Yeah.
What about going in for centre half? What, 35 million to Sporting Lisbon? A young boy?
Yep.
Come on, man.
Yep.
We've got a man from Blythe, 10 million. World, he's been absolutely brilliant this season.
Yes.
I love it.
Brilliant. I sound like Roy Keane. Just go and kick someone. Do it. He's been outstanding. Just kick him.
Right, before we go to the next bit, and since you mentioned Roy Keane, happy Father's Day to everyone.
I did not know you were going to do that, by the way. I promise you this.
Praising people for being fathers. It's their job, man.
Do you know, it was brilliant, right? He goes, Roy Keane, I love him the best, right? He goes, do you know the things what I hate? Well, he's don't ask me. He goes, fireworks. I hate them. What's fireworks? He says, the other one, he says, smiling. Who smiles?
He's brilliant. He really is brilliant, to be fair.
He's great, man.
Happy Father's Day to everyone.
Bloody hell.
And to you, both of you.
Right. Gear. We haven't spoke about him much. His price should be lower because he's got 1 year left on his contract. Do we want to go down that rabbit hole again? But I have also heard that Palace are interested in Target. So could we potentially see a bit of a makeshift deal going on there? A bit of a swap. Target, I would probably put them at about 10 million. Offer them 30 million in Target. Maybe a few little add-ons. Job should be a good one, shouldn't it?
I mean, I've never heard nothing about him, mind, at all.
We're very good at going back into our old targets.
I've never heard nothing about him at all this transfer window. All I've heard is Trafford, James Trafford. I heard about Muniz from Fulham. Yeah. And I heard obviously about Pedro and the recent ones, Elanga. I've heard nothing about Guy. Not a thing.
It's interesting that because he is in the last year's contract. He doesn't want to sign one. Is he going to run it down and we're going to get him on a free and we're going to play the very, very long game? Because Eddie Howe likes him. Target and Willock, both of them for Gear. That would work if Palace are interested.
But yeah, I get that right. So think about it. If you're going to hide Target and Gear out and get Target and Willock out to bring Gear in, what do we benefit from that? Me personally, nothing, because we're weakening our squad.
Unless we're going to sign a midfielder as well.
you need, for me personally, if you're going to let 2 out, you need 3 in maximum. Yeah. Matt, you've got to remember, Baz, we are now starting to. If we are going to compete at the top end of the league and in this Champions League, we need to be strong squad. We need a strong squad. So if you're going to let Sean Longstaff out and you're going to let Joe Willock out, you need, me personally, you need 4 players in. And it's not just bringing in 4 players of their level. You need 4 players.
Oh, better. You've got to be buying better players, yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's
on
arguable.
top of that, we're weakening our homegrown stance as well, because we're going to need those English reared players in our roster to meet.
It's so difficult now.
Yeah, but again, it goes back to the goalposts keep moving because we got taken over.
Yeah. That conversation's now dead in the. We know it's all corrupt. We know it's crap. We know it's rubbish. Stefan's even said on TalkSport, PSR will die soon because it'll kill football. I mean, this Club World Cup thing's a load of rubbish as well.
Well,
the good thing as well is what Eddie Howe likes, right? He likes English players.
Yeah.
And it does stand out like that. It's not very often that if the right English players there, the best ones, you'd get them.
Yeah.
Or
True.
you'll go and get a superstar from abroad on a low wage. On a low transfer fee.
Yeah.
Botman, Tonali. I mean, come on. Tonali at that price, God almighty.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It's Barella money. Isak,
So
absolute snip of
absolutely.
what we got him. Right?
Yeah.
So
He was a bit of a risk, though, wasn't he? Because we paid 63 million for him. There was a slight risk in it, but he's turned out to be unbelievable.
I think he only scored 8 goals in La Liga, didn't he, that season?
No, yeah, we had one bad season, but if you look at the season beforehand, he had something like 21 goals and assists, and I think Real Sociedad sold the midfielder that was feeding him.
Do you know what
the problem we have at the moment?
When I watched, I know you're going to say that. I watched when the lads were saying who's your player of the season. They said Jamal Lascelles said he's the best player I have ever seen at this football club, and this is why he went Alexander Isak.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that from a defender, because normal defenders look at defenders and go, he was brilliant. Him,
yeah.
But to say that's him,
To single out
a centre forward, speaks volumes.
Yep.
He's world class.
Well, we know he is. We absolutely know he is. But here we go. Isak ripped the Euros apart, as it was just injuries that put people off. No, I agree. And we all knew we were getting an excellent player. We just didn't know how. I didn't expect him to be this good. To be completely honest with you, I think he's excelled more than what a lot of Newcastle fans were expecting. Yeah.
Get out.
Get out.
Game over.
Get out. Edward, thank you so much for that. That is absolutely unbelievable. Enjoying the suspense. I love it. There's not much suspense in this. It's just he has improved. He has massively improved.
So is Eels out at the end of June as well?
Yes. So we've got no idea who's coming in either, do we?
Right. Is it Hopkinson, that guy?
I don't know.
You sounded like Buzz pronouncing the foreign name. The name.
Oh God, let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Here's the thing. I know everybody is just watching the transfer tracker. Everybody's looking for somebody to make a move. They're hoping it's us. They're hoping we're going to start bringing players in. If Eddie and Nixon are now in charge of the recruitment, if we're waiting until July 1st, Ian, I'm just looking forward to see if they're racking and stacking deals right now so that they can pull the trigger come 1 July. It's 1 July, the start of the new fiscal year for the football.
Yeah.
In England.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's interesting. The new CEO, Baz. I'm not too sure. A Palace fan told me, and he's a nice lad, he still thinks that Freeman will become our head of scouting. And
Dougie Freeman.
Dougie Freeman.
He turned us down to take that role when we were in Fagay, didn't he?
Yeah. And he's in Saudi Arabia now. But there's rumours that he's gone there to then do full circle and come back to Newcastle. But again, that's putting 2 and 2 and maybe getting 5. We just don't know.
Is in my opinion, is this role important anymore?
I think yes and no. I think it all depends.
Why should? Why? So say for instance, I'm the manager, and you're sporting director. You go out and say, I fancy this player. He's a great player. Him. And I'm the manager, and I've got a certain style of player. And you bring him in, you'll go, I don't like him.
This is where they've got to work together, isn't it? I mean, isn't the sporting director there to do all the necessary contract talks and doing all that sort of stuff? He's not the actual person who goes out and finds the players. That's what the scouts are for. But he's there to do.
So why when right? This is what I'm trying to get right now. So everybody was saying Paul Mitchell done this and done that. It was absolutely fantastic because he brought this player in, this player in, this player in. So why should he take the plaudits when he's bringing players in and the manager's not getting it?
Right.
For me, I think that role should be non-existent.
Interesting.
Me personally, because if I've got a style of play and I want a player that, so for me personally, I should go right. This is my team, and I want this as a certain midfielder. I want to go to my chairman and say, how much money have I got? Then I'm going to go to Liverpool or whatever and say, I want Steven Gerrard. How much have you got? Because I think he'll fit my bill. 80 million, right? For him, I want 80 million. And that's what I want to do because he's my player. I don't get this sporting director role. I just don't get it at all. I really don't. If it's me, look at Eddie Howe will watch every other team in the Premier League and he'll know that who's the best midfielders, who's the best fullbacks, who's the best centre-halves in England, by the way, week in, week out, and he'll know. So why can't he just say to his chairman, I want to put 7 days in for him at Brentford. And I want him. Why does it have to go through a sporting director and go, wait, we'll go and scout him for another 3-4 months and then go, well, he's got a weak ability on his right foot or his left foot or whatever. Fuck that. Sorry for me French.
Right.
If I've watched him and he's good, get him in.
But you also need the scouts for obviously further afield, don't you? So Eddie hasn't got the time to do all that as well, has he?
I want the scout. Right, so, I want the scouts looking at 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds.
Right, but
we've been doing that, haven't we?
So you sent your scouts out over to Germany. Go and watch them in Bundesliga. Watch them and get me the best midfielders out of there and tell me what I can do and what I can afford. Because Mr. Chairman says I've got 150 million. Go out and tell me what I can afford in them and they're the best I've got. You, Mr. Scout, go over in Spain and do exactly the same. But in this country, I see this league week in, week out. I know what's availability. You don't need this sporting director bollocks.
I think the thing is we kind of got very hell-bent on trying to do the Brighton mould, didn't we? Where they do have all that in place and they do it very well. And then what happens is Brighton find a manager that fits their system, don't they? Where we've got Eddie Howe and now we're trying to build a system which Eddie Howe doesn't really like. And I think that's our problem. If that makes sense.
I just don't, me personally, I've just seen a comment there. It's not 1996. I get that. But we watch, right, us as fans, right, we'll watch a game and go, Declan Rice is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right, but he's out of our price range. You'll go and watch another centre midfielder and go, he's absolutely brilliant, Tim. Brilliant. But that's us as fans. The manager will do exactly the same. So he knows what he'll target it. And if we've got a pocket of money, why can't the manager not just go out and do it the old school way? And go, here, I'll meet you in the petrol station at Ferriby Services and go, here, do you want to sign or not?
Here's a bottle of Coke and a bag of crisps.
Yeah, I'll buy you Gaza.
I love it.
Get deals done.
No, I get that, but it's all complicated now. And obviously, our chairman is away. He's in Saudi Arabia all the time, isn't he? So deals go slowly. I don't know what the setup is, but they are trying their best to do the Brighton mould, aren't they? So
It's just frustrating because it seems
Yeah.
so slow. And Newcastle, come on. For 30 years, I've watched them just be slow at getting transfers in. We lose out on targets because we don't jump when it's time to jump. And that's what Paul Mitchell was supposedly going to come and do. But for whatever reason, that shit show has fallen apart.
Yeah. There's
And
a
it
good
just
point.
seems it just seems like we like to dip our toes in the water, but then we don't commit to anything. And then the next thing you know, we're underwater because we can't keep up.
Yeah. We find it very hard to be ruthless in buying players, don't we? But again, it's tough.
We get, and then we get overly ruthless when we're trying to sell a player, and then we lose that opportunity.
But the thing is, though, it's a nasty thing where agents move the goalpost because they'll turn around and go, right, Newcastle United's in for you. Oh, that's great that I want to go there. But then they'll go, well, Manchester United's in for you as well. Oh, big club there. But they're offering you a car as well and do this, and they'll go, all right, fair enough. So it's the agents playing to and fro, and it's shit.
Yeah. The big sharks eat first. We are not a big shark. We will be. We're trying to be, and sometimes it's we don't have the money like Liverpool, who were spending 150 million on Wirtz.
Brilliant player.
Oh no, but 100. Yeah, I mean, we can't go out and spend that kind of money on a player like that.
No, but the thing is, we can go out and spend 130 million on a player, right? We've got that.
Yeah.
But what's the wages that he's on? 300.
Something like that, yeah.
£300,000. So that will just totally break the wage structure.
Yep.
And
piss off the players who've got it already.
Yeah, and then it just throws your club is absolutely in shambles.
Yeah, I'm not, I'm not complaining, but when you've got Callum Wilson on the likes of 50,000 a week.
Matt Target's on 100 grand.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Wasn't that disproved though?
Sorry?
Wasn't that disproved?
No, sure he's on 100 grand a week, Matt Target. 1,000,000%.
Jamal Lascelles is on 46. Callum Wilson's on 50.
Well, he's not
Matt
anymore.
Target's on. I know. I'm just saying. What Ian's saying is correct. You go spend 100 million on a player, and then you hand him 300,000 a week. It upsets the apple cart in the locker room because the rest of the guys who are sitting there going, I'm busting my ass for 80,000 a week, and this guy gets 300. Really? Then you got unhappy players, and then they're going to their agents and saying, "Get me out of here. Go get me more money somewhere else."
But until your prize asset, which is Isak at this present time, moves his wages up to being the top earner, then you attract the players that come in to his wages.
Yeah.
Then Bruno goes up to his wages.
Yeah, that's the issue as well, isn't it?
Goes up to his wages because then you've got to keep all your top players on that on then. So then when you go to attract your next big earners, so say for instance you go in for Haaland, right? You'll go, right, Haaland, we'll bring you in on £250,000 a week. Then everybody else falls in that bracket because then you've got a big, massive circle of players. Doesn't matter if you're sub, in the reserves or whatever. Yeah. These are in this wage bracket, and your club is now sustained at that, so it's stable. So no matter what signing you do, but just remember, the players that leave the football club have got massive value.
Yeah.
Or you'll sell them for a great value, but whatever you bring in, the wages stay the same.
Yeah.
So PSR always remains on a balanced level. But until we do that, Newcastle United will have to move slowly. We really do.
Yeah. Which is what we're doing. And it's frustrating because we all know what we need. We all know what we want. But the football club runs completely different to obviously fan channels and all of us. And Martin, you are right. Yes, it's going to take a while for Newcastle to get to that level. New stadium, better sponsorships, all this sort of stuff. We're just going to have to wait and be patient. And find gems. Obviously, Bruno was a gem. Tonali's a gem at the price that we got him at. Isak was a gem. How many more gems are out there for us to find to be able to compete in the Champions League and regularly get top 4 football? That's the problem, because next season we're going to have the issue is how are we going to sustain in 4 competitions?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's going to be very, very interesting. Sorry, City generate 700 million. We generate 340. Let's be real. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Not arguing against you, and you are right. And we've seen. This is why I put out the tweet, and someone tried to jump on it and say, "Where did Spurs finish in the league?" It's got nothing to do with that. If you look at what Spurs generate and how much money they earn, they can spend more money than us because their stadium is a multi-purpose and they have so many deals in place.
It's open 7 days.
We don't. Yeah, exactly. And we're talking like they double what we earn, don't they, on match days or something, or treble.
If you see St James's Park on a night, it's orange because they've got the heat lamps on because obviously our grass is 70% artificial and the rest is grass, so that it helps to grow. They've got concerts on, motocross events, superstar events, you name it. It's open 7 days a week to generate money.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where they finish in the league. They are generating money 24/7.
And they're always going to generate more money than us and be able to spend more money. There we go. Spurs are on 540, which is well above us. And this is why I put that tweet out saying, I'm worried about Spurs being in the Champions League because of how much money they generate and what they can offer. And it's London.
I think they'll generate another 20% just being in the Champions League. Easy.
Yeah, I agree. We should go for Ruben van Bommel, winger at AZ Alkmaar, 20 years old, would be a good squad player of excellent upside potential. These are the sort of things that you hope our scouts are looking at. I don't know. But we'll see. Corrado is a diamond on the rough. Our revenue will improve when our new stadium is built. God knows when that is, though. Right, before we go, the usual stuff. Don't forget about our amazing sponsors, Diet Crow, 20% off using code BAZ20. Link is in the description. Amazing t-shirts. I do loads of other stuff as well. Check out Jan's art. It's absolutely amazing as well. The link is in the description. The Geordie Experience as well. For anyone who's outside of the Northeast who wants to come to the Northeast, and have an experience, going on trails and all this sort of stuff. They're the people to speak to. A massive thank you to Henderson's Taxis, who's sponsoring our amazing charity football game, which is happening on the 3rd of August at Newcastle Benfield Football Club. It's completely free entry. We've got donation buckets, raffles, tombolas, cake stands, soft play area. We've got free face painting for the kids, so come. Please donate as much as you can. I'm going to have a raffle, which I'll start on Wednesday, once I've took pictures of the prizes and I know exactly what I've got. And hopefully we'll earn quite a lot of money for the 2 charities, which is Stanley Deaf Club and for the Lily Foundation, which helps families with children with rare diseases, which doesn't get enough funding, to be completely honest with you. And once again, happy Father's Day to everyone. We've loved it. We've enjoyed the show. I hope you've enjoyed the chat. Like I said, there's not much interesting news, to be honest with you, because we don't have too much. The club's quite tight-lipped at the moment, which I love, to be completely honest with you. What did we talk about the other day? Waiting on a response. What we talked about the other day? I can't remember, Martin. You're going to have to remind me, mate. I was still not great. Got a good community, I've heard. Martin's coming up for the game. He's going to do the commentary on it. We've also got a partnership with Martin as well for next season. We're going to be doing a show together, possibly more than one show. Really excited to do that. Us Saudi boys have got, oil money clubs have got to stick together and enjoy each other's company talking about football. So we've got a good little deal going on between me and Martin, which I'm really looking forward to doing. Next year, after Christmas, my shifts could be changing, so I might be free more on weekends as well. So there'll be more stuff I can do. It's going to be very interesting. Just keep an eye out. We want to try and blow this channel up and make it bigger, earn more money for charity, try and get a little bit of cash for ourselves so we can buy tickets and things like that as well. Hopefully, fingers crossed, in a month's time, I'll also hear back from that thing that I entered, and that could also be another big opportunity. So we will be back soon. I don't know when. Do I get to laugh at Ian's chicken legs? Yes, you do.
I checked in with Jack, with Uncle John. He is obviously in North Carolina this week with his family. The annual get together. He's going to lay low for the summer. He had a pretty pretty interesting spring in Newcastle. I think it's fair to say. But I've been on him to see if we can do a couple of more barcode banters. But he says he's going to take the summer off and figure out what he's going to do. Ian, I'll be in town beginning of August.
Good man.
So we'll have to get together when we're over.
Yeah.
Maybe have a maybe have a pizza.
We're getting together for the game.
Oh, that's right.
The charity game.
Yeah. No, the other game.
No, the Atletico,
I've
Sella Cup.
I've got tickets for that. So
Yep, as do we. Yep.
I know you've got tickets. I bought them. And I bought Dan's as well. So
Yep,
Dan's
looking forward to it.
Dan's sitting with me and Jacob, and you're sitting with your family.
Okay.
But we're very close together.
Yep.
Beers are on me. No, they're on you, mate. You weigh more than me.
All right.
Brad, thanks for joining us.
Do you know this? I can't wait.
Penny's up as well.
I can't wait to meet Martin up at the charity game. I think it'll be fantastic. Like,
I'm looking.
I mean, last year was absolutely surprised when John turned up. That was
I couldn't believe
brilliant.
it.
That was
I heard. I was playing and someone was shouting my name. I didn't look because I was too focused on the game and that. And then I turned around at the final whistle and John was just walking towards me. I was like, "What?"
It was fantastic. But I can't wait to meet Martin in person. Do you know, I've had hours and hours of conversation with Martin, and I've obviously been on his shows as well. And to meet him in person would be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. So, guys, don't forget, please come down to this because it's put a lot of work into this to get Peter Beardsley to play. Months and months and months of trying to get this sorted. And the more money we can raise, the better. And I need to stop bloody freaking coughing. Right. Thank you, everyone.
Go rest.
Yes, we'll see you again very soon.
All right, lads. See ya.
Ta-da.